Sorry, cold.
Okay, good evening. Today is Wednesday, January 18th, 2012. This is a regular board meeting of the Brownsville Navigation District. The time is 5:33. If everyone will please rise for the invocation. Reverend.
Dear Father in heaven, we thank you for your faithfulness. We thank you for your attention to detail, that you sent your own Son to take on human form. Father, we thank you for your humility and that you are so interested in what we do in the affairs of this port. Father, thank you for your wisdom, your counsel, for your protection, for all who work here, all who serve here. Thank you, Father, for making this port, Father, a blessing, for prospering it, for increasing it, Father. We thank you for all that you are doing to make our work a success, and for adding your favor and blessing upon it. In Jesus' name we pray.
Amen. You'll join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Texas flag.
Pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you.
Public audience, we had no one sign up at this time. So item number 3, receive director's report.
Leadership Brownsville. Okay. Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry.
No.
We're just going to recognize the individuals from Leadership Brownsville. Y'all want to stand up real quick and introduce yourselves?
Yes, hi, my name is Irene Saldaña. I am a photographer and I am in a leadership class. I'm happy to be here with you.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Hi, my name is Carla Gonzalez. I'm a business owner with my husband, and I'm happy to love us out of them returning here in Brownsville. Very happy.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you, and thank you for participating in Leadership Brownsville. We need leaders, so thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Item number 3, receive director's report. A, receive port monthly operations summary report.
We have that in your packet, and we only have the November financials through there. We're still doing well in our financials. We're running ahead of last year. We are working on closing down the year and looking forward to getting into the audit portion of our calendar. The cargo is through December. We ended up 2011 about 16% ahead of 2010, 22% ahead of 2009, and really even with 2008, which was a very good year for us. Overweight permits were ahead of all the years prior to us, 2010, 2009, 2008, so we have been running more permits. For inventory sufficient, we're reporting it to you, but we're up 10% from what we did last year. So we're showing really that we're really good and strong in all of our places. We collected about 70% of our October 2011 property taxes. Any questions?
When is the audit scheduled? When are they going to be in here?
We are hoping to get them in here at the end of February.
In February. Okay.
I normally do BRG first, then come here to do the combined income statements. I don't believe they started there yet.
Is it 10% overall increase, you said?
It's about 10% in permits.
Anybody have any questions of Debbie?
No.
Okay. Thank you very much, Ed.
Thank you, Debbie.
Appreciate it.
I have one for Mr. Davis.
Well, I'll have him come up and speak.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I'd like our harbor master to come up and speak on the windmills and where we're storing them and what our plans are.
Good evening, Commissioners. I'm pleased to inform you that the port is maximizing the use of its Dock 15 and getting a lot of work for our port Scott wall crane. We've cleared the container storage area, consolidated cargo where feasible, and we are utilizing all near dock areas and patios. The following is a storage plan for the vessel's docked or expected to dock at Dock 15. The MV Saga Voyager arrived on Wednesday the 17th at 9:30. It had 40,000 tons of steel slab to be discharged to Dock 15 East and north of Shed 15 were available, not in the secured area, and Patio 15 South were available, although they are expected to be able to fit all of it into the Dock 15 area. They're discharging cargo using the ship's gear, which has 2 gantry cranes and a port godwall crane. Gulfstream is expected to complete the discharge by tomorrow evening and expected to depart AM Friday, the 20th. The vessel was restricted coming in to daylight transit only. It had a 37-foot, 9-inch draft, and it needed radar repairs. We're awaiting the MV Star Kilimanjaro, which is another wind turbine component vessel. It'll be discharging, I'm sorry, it's at Anchorage, been at Anchorage since the 16th, and their ETA is going to be coming in Friday at 19:10 hours. It's the only time that there's a window available for them to come in because they're 38-foot, 1-inch draft, which puts them over the limit, and there's only one time that the pilots have available for them to come in. If they fail to make that window, would have to wait until a whole other day, just so you know.
This is to take advantage of the high tide?
Yes, sir. And high water slack. It's actually as much of an issue with the current as it is the draft. And she'll be, all 36 pieces are to be discharged using our Gotwall crane and a 250-ton crane that they're going to be, the stevedore will be getting. And that ship doesn't have ship's gear. And it'll be stored in that secured area, which we cleared where the containers were, and all of that cargo will go into that location. Beyond that, we have the MV Mary LeBone, and that's expected to come on the 28th. That's another steel slab vessel for 40,000 tons. That vessel that will discharge everything to Patio 20 and east of Terrier lot if it's available, and 22 on the north side only if it needs. And then beyond that, the BBC Congo, which is the other wind vessel, the wind turbine vessel, that has 54 pieces, and that'll probably be going to Dock 15 as well and discharged to the north side of south side of the Patio 22, where they're currently doing the improvements in the area.
We're not going to put any more on the dock, or?
No, sir, not expected.
Mr. Davis, I don't know if they started to take some of those components. Have they shipped them out yet, or?
No, sir, they're expected to be on the dock for about 10 to 12 weeks.
Do we know how many will they take a day so that we can, get them out of there as fast as we can?
2 to 3 towers a day.
2 towers a day?
Complete.
Which is how many components?
It's 3 pieces each. It's 3 pieces each. That's what Lee said, 2 a day of complete. Yeah.
And Joe, we're just at Patio 22, and there's no way that's going to be ready for any of these components, right?
We're waiting for the 29th for that other unit.
They're going to be able to fit in that slot right there?
Tomorrow we should be placing the first 12 inches of limestone on about 3 acres of it.
Okay, so there will be plenty of room there. Great.
Plus they have the existing, the entire south, the existing patio to utilize as well. So.
Okay.
How many shipments will we be getting on these windmills? Is it the first one, or?
3 total.
3 total for this?
Yeah.
And then the blades will start coming in.
Yeah.
That'll be about the 3rd week of February.
Yeah, and to pile on, we had Siemens in here a week ago Friday. They're also looking to run product through here. In their case, some of their stuff will come in by rail as well. So as these projects get deployed in the area, and some of it is for northern Mexico, we're the closest port, so we're getting a lot of attention right now.
Now, I know this windmills company's product. Can we make them take the stuff off the dock first?
That's the stuff that's moving first.
Okay, I just want to make sure that's going to go out first.
Yeah, that's the stuff that's moving.
Okay, great.
It's all going to Raymondville, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, one more question, Mr. Davis. I don't know if it's to you or to Chief Garcia, Mr. Campirano. The officer that we have in the security area checking the trick cards, should it be a security officer or a police officer?
We will
there?
shift them out depending on personnel that we have available at the time.
But the federal government doesn't stipulate one or the other.
No, we could hire, as long as they're trained, as long as they meet all the requirements, and we can do that. Yeah.
An employee with security duty, so.
Okay, I just
Yeah.
don't want anybody going in there, not supposed to go in
See
there.
Donna and I out there, you know.
Michael, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
I will tell you one thing, you know, the month, the planning for the month and getting that stuff, I think, you know, Mr. Davis has done an excellent job meeting regularly with the stevedores, getting them together. A lot of this we only been able to do with working it out and sorting it out, and that has worked really well. He's stayed on top of it pretty much, and you know, I think everybody is working well, especially with that first shipment. I mean, it's the first time we've ever tried it. I think we learned a lot from that first one, but I need to commend him for making sure that all the parties are working together to try to figure out what we're going to do and maximize our storage. And so, you know, that's a good problem to have right now, and it looks like plan he's come up with is going to work. So we're pretty excited to kind of hopefully continue this momentum going forward.
Well, that's certainly bringing two good things. Jobs here at the port and income into the port.
Those those component units require a lot of people to unload them and move them, and that's good. Yeah.
That's a good thing. Thank you, Michael.
The construction.
It's a bird time.
What's up, Pichongaria?
Keep your feet up there, right?
I had heard that a long time. I remember when the Grandy went.
Mr. Chairman, this is the construction report for projects that we were working on up to today, January 18th, 2012. And there's a total of 11 projects. This is going to be a lot of stuff going on at the port right now. The first one, of course, that we've always informed you about is the VHD widening study. In this particular project, we've got, of course, this is the overall picture of the channel, of course, showing what the original bottom width and depth, and the projected bottom width and depth that we're working on for the NAD criteria, which is the National Economic Development Criteria. Where we are with this project at this time, the status right now is, as we reported before, the Corps had requested additional research on ship dismantling and in-transit cargo, and BND consultant EORS finalized the supplemental study for that. The additional research revealed that a lot of the potential future ship dismantling employment benefits can still take place with the current ship's channel configuration, and what that means is that what they had originally estimated that would be a benefit by the deepening and widening basically went away. There's no benefit by deepening and widening to the ship dismantling operation from employment benefits. However, it also estimated that this is on the supplemental study when they went into these numbers in more depth, and they determined that there was more significant employment benefits if the channel is deepened and widened for in-transit cargo. And the amount that they estimated was $751,632,696 if the ship channel, as I said, is deepened and widened. That's the number that they've come up with on the report right now. That report has been submitted to the Corps. It has been submitted to us. The Corps is reviewing it right now, and there's some things that they're tweaking to finalize it, but they've submitted that final draft, and that's the number that they're projecting. Of course, that's a very significant number on a 250 or so million project that we're expecting it to be at, 751 million, just that alone gives us a 3-to-1 cost-benefit ratio. I mean, benefit-cost ratio. So that's very good. Of course, we're continuing to work with the Corps and with headquarters on the applicability and the developing guidance to implement Section 6009 of Public Law 109-13. Now, I don't know how many of you are familiar with that law, but what I wanted to do is show you exactly what it is. And this is exactly what the law is. It says, in determining the economic justification for navigation projects involving offshore oil and gas fabrication ports, the Secretary of the Army, acting through the Chief of Engineers, is directed to measure and include in the National Economic Development Calculation the value of future energy exploration and production fabrication contracts and transportation cost savings that will result from larger navigation channels. This obviously means to us that they're supposed to include it. So that's what we're pressing, and we're continuing to work with them for that. So in reference to the oil rig fabrication and repair, where we are at right now with the Corps is that they have decided to do the calculation, see what the benefits will be, and then have a report with and without. That's what we're showing here, with and without. The benefit cost ratio calculations will show both options. That is a positive on our side because we're going to be able to see those numbers. It's not definite yet because it's still not definite that they're going to include them, but we are going to see those numbers. So I think that puts us ahead. Also on the value engineering study, the recommendations, as you recall, was to narrow the channel in the section and make it a little bit less deep on another. After studying it, we believe that the shallowing it up a little bit at the turning basin is not a problem. It's only at $7 million savings. But the narrowing that they want to do, we feel that it's a problem, and we submitted to them documentation backing up the fact that we needed to remain at 350. Substantially that came from AmFELS because it's really the rigs that are going to be needing the wider 350 width. Yes,
Mr. Chavez, I'd like to, just so the people out there watching this on television and the people from Leadership Brownsville understand what we're saying. When we're going to widen the channel, doesn't mean that we're going to, the banks are not going to change. It's going to be the bottom of the channel will actually, where the depth is, will widen from the 250 feet to 350 feet.
Well, that is correct, but there will be some impact on
yeah,
the
well, but not all of it.
But really not throughout the whole
I'm
channel.
just trying to get them so you get a clear picture of what it is we're trying to do. And what you're talking about here is that the Corps is giving us, we're trying to get the Corps to look at it two ways, that in the national interest, that we have both the job benefit as well as a commerce benefit to the trade of the United States. But local jobs will be provided, and that's
exactly
the $750 million
worth of jobs.
Over that's
period of
So that's just in transit. You haven't coupled in the numbers for the
fabrication.
This one here.
The rig
yeah,
fabrication.
and then the other are just numbers of the regular commerce that would accrue from the widening and deepening.
Which is just the additional tonnage that we would experience before.
Well, I know when we went to the 42 feet, it opened up a whole new world for us, and at 50 feet and wider will open up more. So
now, a couple of things that are not here on my report up on the screen is, number one, we received recently a notification from the Corps on the work in kind. So we're working with them to finalize that. And there's still some question on the numbers, but we're working on that to get finalized. And basically, the final draft is expected to be this year.
And the work in kind means that when it comes time to construct it, this is going to be the money, and to also do the study, the money that we're going to, our match.
Well, work in kind is our match to the cost of the study.
That's what.
You can see what happens is, if the federal government funded this study at the rate of $5 million, say, the port has to match that. It's not a 50-50 deal, it's a match deal. So whatever the government puts into it or budgets for it, but some of that match can come from work that we either contract out or the work that we invest, the time that we invest here
in-house
for personnel. Most of it is going to be coming from consultants that we've engaged for this study, for different aspects of it, and so that's going to reduce our actual cash contribution because we pay for those studies. So that's what work in kind basically means in detail.
Thank you.
That's a very good point. And like I said, the complete final draft is expected in 2012, and the final study completion is still expected to be towards the end of 2013. It's of course pending adjustments on this, on finalizing this issue of the employment benefits. Now I'm going to show you some projects that are being done internally by the Corps. Some of them are minor, some of them are a little more significant. This one here is the Brownsville Machine Shop demolition. This is a building, Mr. Garza is here. If there's any questions, this is a building that was in very, very severe disrepair. This is the site as it was received. And these are some pictures of that area, the way that it was. This is a lot of the debris that was at the site. This is right over here, behind Milo Road there. And here's when we start the clearing operations with port equipment, trying to get everything out of the way. This is debris from demolition of the building. Again, debris from demolition, a work in progress, and basically most of it is cleared already. The only thing that is remaining at this point is that building, and the reason that it hasn't been demolished is because there's some, what we consider personal effects, Mr. Garza?
Yes, beats, man.
Or maybe things of sentimental value that are in there. Some pictures, you know, family photographs and things, and Mr. Garza can address that in a little more detail.
Basically, when we went in there to look what was in there before we demolished it, we found some pictures that belonged to the tenant that was there. So we decided to notify the tenant to give him an opportunity to, you know, come for and pick him up. Unfortunately, he hasn't done that. So what we're going to do is we're going to box them, and they're not that many, but we're going to box them and take them to the shop and store them there. Maybe one of these days he'll want to pick them up, but we don't want to destroy them.
Right. And that's why this one's still standing. Another project that we basically worked on. This is something Mr. Garza can address this, but we've only got a couple of pictures. This is on the Harbor Master's office.
The floor there was in pretty bad shape as far as scuffed and dirty and things like that. So we hired a contractor to come out and strip it and polish it and buff it and everything. So I think it looks a lot better than what it
looks good.
So that's at the Harbor Master's office. Another project, again in-house, is the one that we talked about earlier. This is the Windmill Components. This is the vessel that came in. What is that called? The wagon board. And this is towers being unloaded. This is the vessel is out here already unloaded. We've got the towers on the patio. These are the segments. There's of course 3 types of segments, which is the 3 components that make up the tower, and they're all spread out throughout the area of patio 15, as Mike informed the customers earlier. So these are just shots of that. And here's a video of one of those towers being brought out. Of course, it's a massive it's a massive component. It has to be brought out very, very slowly.
Looks like a rocket ship.
Basically. And this was one of the long sections.
Yes.
So,
I think they're about 100 feet long, Michael. Yeah.
You know, it obviously has to come out very carefully. There's some other videos that we didn't add to this that show how they came in and backed it up into the places where they were going to go. So basically, this is just showing how it came out, how the turn came out and everything. So that's about it right there. One of the things that our maintenance department also did is they had to create a manner in which to remove the fence and reinstall it in the short term. So basically here there's a shot of them adjusting the fence and cutting some of the chain links there to be able to have a portion of it removed, only the portion that needed to be removed, and then have it replaced. And again, here's a video that shows a little bit of what they were doing, bringing it up and down with the winch. And again, this was something that was done by our own in-house crew. This section of the fence was removed, and then after the movement took place, then the fence was replaced again. So. That's about it. This one just shows our people that are working. Another project that we're looking at is this is the acquisition that we made, the portable lighting. These are the lights that were acquired recently. 4 of these units were delivered to the port, and then they were actually used pretty soon after they were delivered, because on one of our docks that we were working the electrical systems, one of the stevedores needed some lighting during the night, so they were basically used. These are the units over there, and then here's another one, and they're just helping the stevedores do the work that they were doing. Anything to add there, Mr. Griffin?
No, sir. We were just kind of lucky that we got them when we did, because a couple of days after we needed to deploy them to the dock 11. And the stevedore was very happy that we could provide the lighting.
So they worked well there. Another project, of course, this is our own Siemens Center. This is, of course, the main entrance. Once you come in, this is the activity room. Here's the sofa that's already been delivered in place there. The refrigerator, that still needs to be set in its place. Here's another shot from the back. And then here's a shot of the sofa there in the activity room. This is, I'm standing here where the television is going to be. So the people who are sitting in the sofa are going to be watching the TV there. This is the chaplain's office. This is the corridor going back into the restroom and back to the utility room. This is the restroom door, and this is the utility room door. Nice. This is the restroom here.
Great job.
Who said wow? We need to remodel what's in the building.
That's nice.
So, and this is, well, one thing that I'll point out, of course, is that this is ADA compliant. You've got the and everything, so this is completely ADA compliant. This is the utility room, stainless steel frame over here. There's even the mop rack is stainless steel as well. This is the meditation room. There's some nice backlighting in the back of the slab here. This is the vestibule, this is the entry door. That's the vestibule there. And then this is, you know what? I missed one photo. Anyways, this is the,
get it.
I took a photo of the plaque, and I didn't put it in for some reason. I don't know. And it was a good angle and everything. I just realized everything. This is the fence on the southwest corner that is going to shield the rail that's on this side from people that are using the Siemens Center. We're going to extend that fence from the other side. This is a completed fence. This is, again, work that was done by our own maintenance department. This is the fence along, like we said, on the back wall. The fence is going to continue there on the other side, and this is basically, this is the end of that back wall. It's going to continue along here. Here you see a little bit of the work on the concrete pavers that are going to go in this area to, which is the sidewalk that is going to lead into the Siemens Center. This is the parking area already hot mixed and everything. This is the access to the Siemens Center, Harbor Master Road coming in. This is the entrance to Dock 4 coming back. And of course, at the end over there is Windhouse Road. This is Harborside Road, which is this one now, that goes into the Siemens Center, which is right there. This is, of course, the Harbor Master's office. So now, you know, we have proper paving access to the Siemens Center. And that's it for that. Another project is, of course, the Dock 11 Road Transformer Pad. This is something that we actually had on the books since SMMS came in, or SIMS. This is a picture that I had shown you before, and I left it here so you would remember what the concrete pour was back then. But this is the finished product. This is the concrete slab with PUV having installed the transformer. This is the H-frame with stainless steel U-struts, the meter can, and the cutoff box. This is, of course, a close-up of the transformer there, a close-up of the cutoff box and the meter can. And then this is another one from the opposite side where you see the box there, the cutoff switch there, and the meter in place. That's a shot of the meter. So that everything is now functioning.
Are those poles going to be taken down behind?
Yes, yeah. The wood poles, the wooden H-frame here and everything, that's going out.
Okay.
And then the wires, the overhead that came into there, PUV
is removing them also.
Removed also. I believe they've already removed them. Right?
No, sir, I don't think they have yet.
Okay, so those are still there, but they need to be removing those because obviously we're doing this on the ground. So that's for this project. Another project that we are working on, of course, is the quick access point and all that road lighting project, which is this is placement of the conduit on dock number 3. One of the things that this contractor is doing that we're very happy about is instead of open trenching the whole set of conduits, they have this machine that installs by underground boring. So instead of open trenching all this area here, which is the area behind dock 3, they put everything underground with the conduits. They have to, of course, have little areas where they do where they pull up the conduit. So this is where it's coming up. So again, this is the conduit placement in dock number 3. You can see that there. This is the dock part, and this is Windhouse Road here. This is, of course, our fence. And they only have localized open trenching because, like I said, most of it is being done by boring. So that's a plus. See, this is on the entrance to Oil Dock Road 1. Basically, this is Oil Dock 1 on West Oil Dock Road coming in. This is, again, the conduit placement in this area. You see the boring machine there.
That's a lot better.
Now, this is an area where there was a lot of old pipes. Most of these actually were not in use, but when they were trying to bore through, they hit, so they had to open trench to make sure that those were not something that they were going to hurt. So they took extreme care in going through here. And the reason I'm telling you this is because we've got an item down the line where you're looking at this is going to be important. You're remembering this. So this is one of the things that they had to be very careful with because they didn't want to create a situation with any of the existing pipes. Fortunately, after we found these, we found that most of these were not in operation, like I said. So here again is the conduits. These are two of these are the conduits that lead to the poles. One of them is a spare, one of them is the feeder, and the other one is a conduit for remote control for the future. And again, these are just shots of West Oil Dock Road. Conduit placement, these are now shots of the pole foundations. That's the auger that created the hole that goes down where the concrete is going to be poured. Here, that's what they're doing with their auger. This is the foundation, basically the hole going in. That's going to be filled with concrete. That's actually the ruler by our inspector to make sure that it has the proper dimension. This is the reinforcing steel cage that is going in there. This is the cage in place. And this is the form for the concrete. It's a cardboard cylinder that goes up from the ground, and then this is already poured. You can barely see it there, but the concrete is already in place. Of course, you see the whole thing there with the concrete. So that's basically the pole foundations they've started to do. They're already working. Today they were working on Anchor Road. They ran into an underground pipe that nobody claims. So we think it's a dead pipe. So we checked with everybody. It wasn't spotted by anyone, so no one seems to claim use of it. So we're anticipating there's not going to be a problem. Another project is, of course, as was discussed earlier, is the patios, patio 20 and 22. On patio 20, this elevation grid was, as you can see, those slats are the grid. Compose the grid that our engineering department is doing so that our maintenance department can go in and cut. We also consulted with a contractor to see if we could contract some of this out within the limitations that our purchasing procedures have so that we can do this fast pace. And after my meeting with the contractor today, we believe that we found a way to get the contractor involved to a certain extent and help us speed this up, and then have our own crews complete the work on the surface. So I'm gonna send out an invitation, a request for quotes on this tomorrow, hoping to open bids maybe on Monday, and it's just sealed quotes. And then if they all come in within the parameters, then we'll be able to engage those contractors right away. If they don't, we would have to reject all the bids, but we're anticipating that we will be fine within the parameters that we're supposed to have. So this one's going to be also worked on at the same time as Mr. Garza's working on the other one, which is this one here on patio 22. That's our equipment and our personnel. So this is basically on patio 22. Another project is the internal roads project. On this one, we basically just had some repairs. This is the Old Dock Road repairs completed. As you can see in this area, that's where we beefed it up so that we wouldn't have any weaknesses, any additional failures. This is a perspective from the east looking west. This is East Mineral Road repairs. On this one, we had a lot of issues because a lot of trucks moved here, and I believe this is substantially more truck traffic than what was counted when these roads were designed. So instead of leaving the 6 inches of limestone that they had designed, what we did is we went back and beefed it up with 12 inches of limestone and put geogrid underneath. So we believe that's going to hold up really well. This is on East Mineral Road again. This is on West Mineral Road. On this one, we only had a couple of pockets that we had problems with. So, these are just some of the patches that we're getting there. And that's basically it for the internal roads project. The last project that I always show you is the 550. This is just the aerial map that shows the area. What I'm going to show you is an area here on OPI, 3248. I'm going to show you this intersection here with the rail, and I'm going to show you what's going on right here at the floodway. So the first one, of course, is the 3248 overpass, and you all have seen this. All the beams are in place. They're starting to place the panels on top. So that work is progressing. This is the old Port Isabel overpass that I think looks really, really awesome. From the top, you can see the beams, and they're also starting to place the panels on this one. Here you see the main lanes looking towards 3248 from the overpass on the one that loops back in. Of course, we had all our lights and everything, so there was no risk here for any problems. But as you can see, they've already primed, so they're getting ready to start doing some hot mixing in this area. Usually when you prime, you leave it 48 hours to a little more maybe, and then you can come in and start doing the hot mixing. Here you can see the same thing looking back towards the port. And then this is the rail overpass. As I told you, they've only placed the beams on the part of the west. This is a picture actually today, and they're still working. They didn't really have anybody there to do the rest of the beams today. I don't know if it was weather or what, but where they were working was really here on the Rancho Viejo floodway. This is the crossing of the floodway looking into the port. That is the port connector road over there, and this is the one that's going to connect to it over there. And that's basically it for the construction report. This picture is actually courtesy of our architect. It's a Pelican. This picture was taken by Mr. Roberto Ruiz, and he was kind enough to furnish it to us as our nature shot for this report. So, no cost.
No cost. Mr. Ruiz.
I have one question. I don't know if it's a Joe or Ariel or Eddie or all three. On Faust Road, there's across from the harbor master's office, there's an empty warehouse that has a conveyor belt, I guess. And I got a call on it on Monday. I think I was talking to our chief of police about it, saying it's really swaying in the wind. And I think Commissioner Cowan said that the insurance company said it needs to be torn down. Do y'all know anything about that?
We've communicated with the owners and make them aware of that and take them to get it down. We've hands communicated with them again to tell them to do that and to take it down. They were doing some improvements in the area, or cleaned up the area, but they still got some more work.
Well, what happens? I mean, we know it's a hazard, or at least we've been told it's a hazard. It falls, and God forbid it hurts somebody. I mean, where do we step in and force them to take that down?
Well, there is a danger if we take control over it, then are we responsible? I need to think about that.
Okay. Okay. Very good. Okay, that's all I have. Anything else? Okay.
Okay.
Next time.
Thank you.
Item number 4, consideration and action on the following consent agenda items. A, approval of the minutes of the regular board meeting of January 4th, 2012, and minutes of the special board meeting of January 9th, 2012. B, approval to authorize payments over $25,000. Item 1, City of Brownsville, United Brownsville payment to be paid quarterly in the amount of $6,250 for a total yearly amount of $25,000. Item C, approval of the following lease. Item 1, Bedoli Group, Inc. amendment.
Mr.
table item 4C1.
That's a, just so you will know, that is a conversion from a right of first refusal to a lease. And so that's only one of the 3 parcels, but that's the most important one. So we need to get that done.
With that,
Motion to table 4C1, Commissioner.
okay. Motion table, is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Now we have a motion for A, B, and C, or A and B, I'm sorry.
So move.
Okay, we move. Seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Item number 5, consideration and action on assignments, negotiations, easements, subleases, and contracts in general. Item 1, MTZ Group LLC doing business as Allied Trading, authority to negotiate.
Yes, MTC Group doing business at Allied Trading is requesting a new lease on approximately 2.2 acres off of 511 for the purpose of recycling plastic and cardboard. Their lease expired, their ex-lease, 3662, was terminated for cost. They have now brought their account current and have all of their insurance, and all the paperwork is in place, and so we're asking the authority to prepare a new lease to them.
Exactly, where is that located?
Here on 511. Here across
Okay.
the street.
But on that, okay, on 511,
This right here.
east of,
In front of your warehouse.
okay.
Yes.
Okay, now I know what you're talking about, okay.
And this would be under the new lease rate structure, correct?
Any other questions? Okay.
Motion, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Motion seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Item number 2, Mario Alberto Hernandez doing business as KK Busters, authority to negotiate.
Yes, Mario Alberto Hernandez, DBA AK Busters, is requesting a new lease on approximately 1 acre off of Old 48 for the purpose of parking their trucks only. This would be a new lease to replace a lease that also was terminated for cause, and they are now current and brought up all the paperwork. And so we're asking, the staff is asking for authority to negotiate a new lease for them at current rental rates.
How big is the
Current or new?
property?
Sir?
How big is the
1
property?
acre.
1 acre.
1 acre?
And they had a lease before and then,
Yes, sir, they had a
okay.
lease before, they got
Yeah,
behind,
okay.
their lease was terminated.
Yeah, I got it, okay. And so now they're good to go now.
Yes, sir.
Ms. B, on these leases that with the situation that's happening, are we going to a monthly billing state for them, or?
Yes, we will do monthly, but they will have to pay a 6-month security deposit instead of a 3-month security deposit.
Okay.
Based on,
Yes.
yeah, that's good.
Good, okay. And then they're going to pay the rent monthly?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good.
So move, Mr. Chairman.
Second, Mr. Chairman.
Move and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, B.
Thank you.
Item number 6, consideration and action to select the successful respondent to the request for qualifications for security system design, installation, and integration services, and authorize port director to negotiate and execute contract with selected firm. As you know, this is we're combining several of the different grants together so that we could get it all out and issued and do like a design build type of project, like we did our first camera project. And we had about 10 companies. Yeah, John's here. He's going to talk to you about the review of it. But we had several companies pick up the packages, but we had one respondent to the RFQ, and that's the packet that I just put in front of you. We had a review committee, which was made up of John, myself, Chief Garcia, and Mike Davis review the packages, and now I'm going to turn it over to John, and he's going to go over them with you.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. With your approval, we advertised this open bids on Friday. 6th. And like Donna said, we had about 24 different companies request the package from really all over the world, but only had one submit. There's various reasons why that happened. There's very technical requests for the type of projects that we've had, including some of the quick work that's been done, which is very limited, but still with the companies that can do that work. We reviewed the package that was received. They've met, in my opinion, they've met all the requirements that we need for the project. And so my recommendation is that we go ahead and start to enter the contract part of this, which will be a pretty long process because there's a lot of, we're spanning 3 years worth of grants, and there's different components of different projects that are going to have to be very spelled out so that we can keep our finances for the grants together. So it's going to be a long process.
And what we're asking today is just simply allow us to go ahead and accept this qualified proposer, and so we can sit down and begin to put together the project with them. Each component unit will be brought for you for consideration, but all we're saying at this point is we feel that the proposal we did is qualified and meet the requirements of the proposal, and so we're prepared to sit down and start essentially putting the project together under different component units. So we're ready to move. And I know that this was one of those projects that we had talked about needing to expedite because we're talking about 2007, 2008, 2009 security grant funds, and so we're in keeping on that schedule. We're prepared to proceed.
I'm really glad it's a Brownsville firm as well. That's great.
And he also worked, he was a subcontractor on one of our original projects that has a lot of the same elements, and we're very happy with the work that he did. And he's continued to do when we had needs, he's come out to help us, and he's been very good to us.
Good.
So now the arm twisting starts.
Right.
Can I make a comment?
Sure.
I noticed on the agenda, you're asked not only to authorize the negotiation, but actually authorize the port director to sign the contract. But because it's not a bid where you have like a lump sum, I would suggest that contract come back to the board.
Yeah. And I think it should come back to the board.
So we should amend this to say we're just approving the negotiation.
Yeah, just leave everything but execute a contract out.
Okay.
I'll make a motion with those changes.
Okay.
Second it, Mr. Chairman.
Been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Item number 7, consideration and action to approve change order number 1 to the TWIC access point and oil dock lighting augmentation project, and to authorize funding of same.
Mr. Chairman, Board of Commissioners, on the TWIC light access point and oil dock road lighting augmentation project, working off of the schematics that the consultant provided, our surveying crews went out and started staking out all the poles, and there's one location where we believe an additional pole is needed. And this is basically on oil dock 5 right behind there. The actual field dimensions are a little bit longer than the schematics indicate. So what we want to do, and we met with the contractor, and we want to go ahead and add that extra light that would provide for better illumination in the area. We've consulted also with the consultant. The consultant has reviewed in fact, they reviewed the different things that would be affected, and I've got copies here.
Is this for pole and lights or just a pole?
No.
Pole and
entire
lights.
fixture.
Okay.
It's the work and the
Let's say
fixture.
for $2,000, that's one hell of a pole.
See, this is actually going to help the whole, see everything, including the numbers of what we're looking at. If you look at the tabulation there, at the very top, you see the metal light pole fixture, the light pole that we'd be doing. Now, in fact, we're only adding one pole because on the circuit on oil dock 3, we eliminated 2 poles on the east and west direction and added 2 poles on the north and south direction. But by adding those northern poles, we had 2 B-type light fixtures and we eliminate 2 A-type fixtures. So if you look at this on the, we're deleting 2 A-type fixtures on the bottom table, but we're adding 3, item 3, we're adding 2 B-type light fixtures. So that balances out to be a total of $8,554.04, including the additional length. We have one length of segment of cabling, trenching, and conduit and wire that goes in there as well. And it's double wire, so that's why I'm showing 240 feet. So that's what we're doing. This is all that it entails, including the additional lights. Now, one thing that is not in here that we also discussed in our progress meeting last time, the way that the plans were drawn up, the meters and the cutoff boxes were going to be mounted on poles, on wooden poles. When they actually put up the wooden poles out on the site, we feel that that's not what we want. So we asked the contractor to look at how they would switch that to a metal H-frame type situation, and they've given us a number of 9,636 because there's a total of 5 new meter installations. And we are hoping that you would be okay with that. We're gonna need to come back with that on the next board meeting because that's not included in this particular package. But it's going to obviously look a lot better than having the wooden poles out in the side. But for now, this is the only thing that we're looking at, the 8554 and 04, that would add the additional pole and the additional required light fixtures and the additional cabling and conduit and everything. So that's what we're asking.
What is the difference?
Oh, yes, very good. Excuse me?
What is the difference between A-type light fixture and a B-type light fixture?
Well,
what is it, little candle lights?
The contract actually has 3 types of fixtures, A, B, and C.
I just want to know between A and B.
The difference is, the primary difference is the wattage and the type of light, because the light fixture that is used as A on the contract is the one that is going to be lighting towards the water. Okay, so in this particular case, we have one pole that has 2 A fixtures that light towards the water, that we're eliminating at the end of one of the
I got that. What does A do and what does B do? Now, you told me what A does, now what does B do?
Okay, now the B is actually on Anchor Road. All the light fixtures on Anchor Road are B, which are more like, it's similar to a security light, but it's brighter than a typical security light from PV because it's also a 1,000-watt light. Okay. But these only go 1 on each pole. So even though we wound up, like I indicated to you, we took 2 poles from the end and added 2 poles on the middle. Yeah. We took 2 A's from one pole, but added 2 B's, 1 on each of the northern poles.
I think the difference is one is more directional and the other one is more luminous.
Got it. Okay. But they're the same, they wind up with the same wattage.
The C is
just one, okay, one of them is a brighter light and it, okay, got it. Okay.
The brightness is the same except over the...
I got it. I got it.
Okay, so we need to vote on this, right?
Wait, and the time.
Okay, yes. In addition, on the item, we also mentioned the fact that the contractor has ran into some obstructions, some difficulties. There's been a couple of weather delays and other issues that have slowed them down, and they requested, actually requested a 21-day extension. But in our progress meeting, together with our consultant, we indicated we decided that we felt that instead of coming back to you for additional time later, we wanted to foresee any possibility of problems in the future and add to those 21 days, add a total of 9 days for a total of 30 additional days.
This is the first extension request, correct?
Yes.
There will be no cost involved in this.
On the extension request, no.
Okay.
No, they're not asking
The reason
for
when they hit those pipelines, it took...
I know that. I just want to make sure they don't have to pay anything.
But your change order doesn't mention.
Well, that change order is only for the number of dollars that we have. The agenda item is the one that mentions the 30 days.
But the agenda item says that change order 1 does both.
Right.
And this is change order 1 and it doesn't.
Well, no. That's only part of change order 1. See, once this change order is approved, I will draft up the document that includes the amount and the days and bring it for signature for the chairman. And that is the standard NSP format for the change order that we've always used, that we've always had the chairman sign once we get it approved.
So they're not going to sign this?
No. That's not the argument over time.
It would be nice if next time, Mr. Chavez, just to avoid confusion with the attorney, and if you could include the time that you want it along with the amount of money.
Well, and
so we don't get it all at one time and get it.
Well, and normally I do that. In this particular situation, because a lot of the things happen too close to the agenda item, and we wanted to make sure that we had your authorization for the poll, we wanted to give you all the information in the agenda item, and then subject to the preparation of the documentation.
Right.
And you're asking them to approve this exact amount?
That is the amount that we come up with for the additional amount.
Not to exceed 10,000?
This would be the amount, actually.
I'll make a motion.
Second, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, the motion seconded. Any further questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Item number 8, consider an action on authorizing BND to participate in the Texas Port Association's economic impact study conducted by Martin and Associates.
Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, we are members of the Texas Ports Association, and on Thursday of last week we had a meeting. We've been talking about updating our own economics with Martin, and actually last year we requested a proposal from him. Well, the ports through the association have also asked the same thing. And essentially what we got back is we got back a proposal from Martin that would essentially develop what we're asking for, but instead of doing it just for us, it would be 10 other ports. So the scale of it is that we could get it done for about half the price. You know, the last time we did our economic impact study with Martin was in 2006. I think he did our NED update in 2008. Yeah. I think that this would be a good opportunity for us to go ahead and go forward. We will get the same product as we would, however, we will take advantage of the cost savings by doing it collectively with the other 9 Texas ports. Now, I've also asked that we have some consideration for perhaps some additional costs associated with 2 things. At our meeting, there were 7 of us that indicated that we would be willing to do that. So there's still 3 others are also interested, but like us, have to go to the commissions and get approval. So in the end, if we only get 9, it might vary that cost, but it still would be at a cost savings. The other is that when we get Mr. Martin down here, there may be some things that we want him to do that are specifically to us that might not relate to the other ports, so we want a little bit of latitude. So my request to you is to approve our participation in this project with Martin and Associates at a not-to-exceed amount of $35,000. But the primary work product we want is the economic impact for the Port of Brownsville. And as we go through it, if there will be other needs, we will keep you posted on that. But I think one is it kind of gets us off dead center on it, and it does do it for us, a substantial savings. And if you have the opportunity to go through the proposal, you'll see that it is quite detailed. It will include, you know, numerous components that relate to the port. Plus, John Martin and Associates, or Martin Associates, are probably the industry leader. If you look at their customer base, they do most of Texas, most of the ports in the country. So there's other opportunities in here by simply knowledge of other ports that would go into this. And so I think this is a good time for us to go ahead and move forward on that.
Would Mr. Martin be in a position to come and visit the port and talk to us about this, Eddie?
We can certainly talk to him. I have actually asked him to do that, and where we left the conversation the last time, and we see Mr. Martin at some of the events that we go to, was that he's planning a trip to Texas and trying to do something that he could come down here. A lot of the things that we're doing now weren't even contemplated when he did the 2006 agreement. We've done a lot more things since then that at the time was really pretty much concentrated on the steel trade and our liquid commodities. Well, we're doing a lot of other things, but that's our hope. I think that it would be good to get Mr. Martin down here and not only talk about this economic impact, but at some point in time, our NED study is going to have to be updated as well, and that's the one that really is a document that would go to the Corps and would kind of measure some of those other national economic development impacts that are not going to be just kind of, okay, here's Brownsville, here's just the overall economic development impacts. We'll also be able to measure ourselves with how we fit with the other Texas ports. So I think this is a good opportunity for us.
He's proposing to do the study for $250,000. There are 10 ports. That's correct. $25,000 each. We would pay $25,000. of our part, and you said there would be an additional amount that you would like to propose. What amount is that?
I'm asking you for an additional $10,000 for two reasons. One is that in the event only 9 ports participate, it's going to cost more than $25,000.
Okay.
Also, there may be some additional work that we want him to do outside of the scope that's very specific to us while he's here and looking at us. That also. So either way, just to have some flexibility, whatever we engage him in for this or any other work, not to exceed a $35,000 amount.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay.
Motion, Mr. Chairman.
Motion.
I'll second that.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Item number 9, adjourn into executive session.
Okay.